Whether it is permitted or not in the state where you live, lane splitting often annoys other drivers on the road for both practical and psychological reasons. When a motorcyclist lane splits or filters to the front of traffic, other car drivers interpret that as cutting in line. Because yes, we're still all just children at the end of the day, yearning for authenticity and attachment, and cutting in line is one of the most hurtful things you can do to another person. When cars are stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, the hard-headed cager can't really comprehend why a motorcyclist has the right to move past them when they were there first. Splitting past cars can also startle or surprise drivers, and because of some deeply ingrained characteristics of human psychology, many people react to being startled with anger. They say, "You scared me, I'm now mad at you." I think lane splitting also just makes drivers nervous. When a motorcycle is moving between lanes, they come pretty close in contact with other vehicles on the side of the road. The close proximity of a driver's car and a lane splitting motorcyclist can make people who aren't used to it kind of uncomfortable, especially if it's splitting at higher speeds versus filtering during stopped or slow moving traffic. A lot of drivers also don't understand the legality of lane splitting and just automatically assume it's just reckless behavior from the rider. But as we know, there's lots of positive outcomes that lane splitting or filtering can have on the overall flow of traffic, while also improving the safety of motorcyclists. So whether they like it or not, car drivers are just gonna have to get over it. Nobody likes your insanely loud motorcycle exhaust except you. The car drivers with whom you share the road don't like it, and even other motorcyclists probably don't enjoy it either. One story, I was actually cycling to a local UPS the other day, and this Ducati flew by with an insanely loud exhaust and nearly blew out my eardrums. I didn't appreciate that. Being in control of the motorcycle that's producing a really loud exhaust note is a completely different experience than being subjected to it against your will. When you're the one twisting the throttle, the exhaust sound produced is an extension of your connection with the machine. As you twist the throttle and the engine RPMs increase, the sound level increases too. It's an expected response that your brain predicts as the input as the rider directly correlates to the increase in volume. Whereas for every other person other than you, a very loud exhaust sound is jarring, disturbing, and really annoying. Look, every motorcyclist can agree we like good sounding exhaust. A modest slip-on for a little bit of a deeper tone is perfectly acceptable, a full pipe with a nice baffle in it, but a straight piped inline 4 banging off the rev limiter is an experience that is only enjoyed by the smoothest brained individuals in our community. We can do better, and we should do better. Since we're on the topic, excessively revving a motorcycle is a surefire way to annoy other people. Street squids and Harley pirates alike both can't help but act as if letting their motorcycle engine idle for more than 5 seconds without revving it is going to result in catastrophic failure. This compulsive need riders have to constantly be twisting the throttle while they're stopped in traffic. And maybe this compulsion has been bred down through generations of motorcyclists, maybe back in the days of carbureted, low-compression, air-cooled bikes. Maybe you did literally have to keep continuously revving up your bike to prevent it from dying while idling, or as an attempt to encourage it to warm up more quickly so you can finally switch the choke off. Since the behavior was more common for older generations of rider, maybe it's been bred down into our DNA and become part of the motorcyclist instinct, despite the fact that our modern fuel-injected bikes don't require any input in order to idle properly at any engine temp if tuned correctly. Maybe the motorcyclist's compulsive need to continuously rev their bike is similar to the way a cat needs a blanket, as if trying to extract the milk of its mother. Different than lane splitting, but in the same realm, weaving in between cars and making abrupt lane changes, effectively cutting off drivers, is another way in which motorcyclists do annoy other people on the road. We all understand that motorcycles are the superior machine. They're faster, lighter, nimbler, and they cost less, and as a result, they can navigate traffic with much more precision and agility. But when it gets to a certain point, it almost feels like motorcyclists are just rubbing it in. Car drivers don't like watching motorcyclists behave as if the rules of the road don't apply to them. Also, seeing people ride motorcycles in this way, operating at high speeds and making rapid lane changes and weaving in and out of traffic, can be a little scary for the average Joe commuter. When drivers see people riding a motorcycle in an aggressive manner, they don't know the actual level of the rider's skill, and it requires quite a bit of goodwill and trust that a motorcycle is riding more spiritedly around other cars. It's not going to yeet themselves into something and harm themselves or others. I'm a motorcyclist myself, obviously, but even I get a little sketched out if I see some 600 squid in t-shirts and tennis shoes cutting it up on the highway, weaving between cars at 140 miles an hour. I don't like to see it. I don't like being around it. Motorcycles are much harder to see on the road. They're smaller, take up less space, and unfortunately, they don't often register to the driver who's just taking a quick glance before turning or changing lanes. So to mitigate the risk of being struck by another vehicle, motorcyclists are supposed to, quote-unquote, ride like they're invisible, which means riding defensively with the assumption that you're not going to be seen. What it doesn't mean, though, is riding in a car's blind spot. It's ride like you're invisible, not actually be invisible. Where you position yourself in the lane is a pivotal aspect in safe motorcycle operation, and while we should all know this, riders will still casually ride in a car's blind spot, and then when they get cut off because the driver literally couldn't see them, they freak out like in one of those viral road rage TikTok videos, and they slam the car driver's mirror off their car, which isn't really fair. Cars are stupidly large these days, and many have terrible blind spots, and the drivers become overly reliant on blind spot monitoring systems, which don't always clock motorcycles with the same accuracy as other cars. So if you want to stay safe and not annoy drivers, do your best to stay out of their blind spots. Remember, we're maneuverable and nimble. Just get out of the way. Another perk of riding a motorcycle is that they're able to be parked in much more creative ways, but by doing so, you're often at risk of bothering car drivers who are limited in where and how they park their big dumb SUVs. Motorcyclists are known to double park, squeeze into unsanctioned regions of a parking lot, or even leave their bikes on sidewalks. And while this realistically doesn't do much in the way of actually hurting or inconveniencing other people, car drivers are very quick to be annoyed by things they don't understand or feeling like somebody's getting a free ride when they have to pay for parking. Like, someone will have to move 2 steps to the left to walk around someone's bike that's parked on the sidewalk, and they'll be so enraged they're ready to write their congressman. Car drivers also get annoyed if they see what appears to be an open parking spot in a super packed parking lot, and they'll go in to pull in only to realize there was a motorcycle parked there the whole time that they were just unable to see because it was nestled between 2 F-250s. In my opinion, getting overly bothered by the way motorcyclists park their bikes is really kind of ridiculous. When a motorcyclist is risking their personal safety to travel on a vehicle that in its nature reduces traffic congestion, has much greater fuel efficiency, puts less wear and tear on the roads, they should be entitled to some privileges. When you really stop and think about how much we gear our world around cars, it's going to start to radicalize you as well. And when you ride motorcycles, you'll start to get pissed off at cars for this too. Seriously, go in your local city, look how much parking space there is just for cars. It'd be so much better if it was like walking trails and biking trails, and motorcyclists are an antidote to that. We are literally helping the world. We, of course, love Rockform for their rock-solid phone cases and motorcycle handlebar mounts, but they keep adding more and more new accessories that allow you to capitalize and expand on your existing setup. With a Rockform phone case in hand, you can attach it to a mount on your bike, on the dash of your car, and now even on a camera tripod. As more and more people get into motorcycle content creation, the Rockform tripod mount is a super convenient piece of kit. The 1/4-inch threads attached to any standard camera tripod, and the magnetic phone attachment allows you to super quickly attach your phone to get the perfect shot. The base of the mount is magnetic as well, so you can quickly slap the mount onto a metal surface, snap your phone onto the other side, and set up a shot without even having to use a tripod. Rockform has an astounding track record for high build quality and rugged durability, and this mount is no different. With a super strong magnet, especially paired with a Rockform case, you know your phone isn't going to budge. Rockform's been a long-time Yaminu partner, and their support is invaluable. If you enjoy your existing Rockform products and have an interest in using your phone for photography or video, click the link below and check out the tripod mount. Yaminu viewers get 25% discount as well if you use the code YN25. So hit that link in the description, use that code YN25 for 25% off. Thanks so much to Rockform for the support. Now let's get back to the show. And on top of that, motorcyclists like to do wheelies. Those who know how to do it find immense pleasure in the act. Those who don't know how to wheelie wish that they did. But car drivers can't stand when motorcyclists do wheelies. I imagine it comes down to the way it is perceived as being reckless and dangerous, and drivers think a motorcycle rider having fun on their bike is not worth the risk it may pose to others on the road. And trust me, I'm not here advocating for people to do wheelies on a busy public road, but I think that if you're a car driver that's going to call the cops on people doing wheelies on some groms in a parking lot, then you definitely need to get a life. A lot of Midwestern and East Coast cities are straight up waging wars against wheelie boys. Another sensationalized news coverage is not doing the perception of stunt riding any favor either. Of course, we want people to be safe. We don't want someone's reckless riding to put others bystanders in danger. When it comes to inner city teens busting wheelies on Chinese pit bikes, I think there's far more destructive ways they could be spending their times. Like, the more time they're riding illegal dirt bikes on the street, the less time they're going to be stealing Kias, you know? Car drivers also really hate when motorcyclists speed. In the same way I think they're afraid of seeing riders do wheelies or lane splits, speeding on a public road seems like a massive danger to society in the eyes of many car drivers. And again, I'm not saying that going 186 miles an hour on your favorite toll road is a small or advisable choice, but I also recognize that motorcycles are inherently quite fast, and they're capable of going pretty high speeds with ease. A lot of people start riding for the pursuit of speed and adrenaline that comes with it. But there is a time and place to do that kind of riding, and it is certainly not during peak hours of traffic or busy roads with lots of other vehicles. Not only does excessive speeding around other cars put other people at risk, it negatively alters the perception of our lifestyle and sport. Seeing a motorcyclist excessively speeding makes a lot of car drivers nervous and does not paint riders in a very good light, which is not what we want. Also, there's this common wisdom that appears to be passed through motorcyclists that say that if you're speeding, you're only going to kill yourself. But if you actually look at the damage a motorcycle rider going 150 miles per hour can do to any vehicle, you're putting other people in danger too. Don't do that shit. We want to mend the relationship between cars and bikes so we can represent riding as an approachable and responsible act, not one that exists exclusively to satisfy the needs of reckless adrenaline junkies. Besides, there's toll roads at midnight. That's always fun. Go out there, there's nobody out there, open that thing up, it's gonna be a great time. And lastly, huge group rides definitely annoy other drivers. When larger groups of people ride together, the worst types of riding are often on display. Riding in large groups encourages reckless riding, whether it be speeding, lane splitting, weaving through traffic, doing wheelies, or all of the above. Essentially, every annoying act that riders do that we've already outlined in today's video becomes an exponentially more potent annoyance to other people during a group ride. One guy revving his sport bike to redline while stopped at a light waiting if it turned green is kind of annoying. But 12 squids that are all revving their bikes in a similar way is just absolutely ridiculous. Old school Harley biker groups are known to block off intersections to make sure the whole squad stays together and no one gets stuck behind a light. This is less of a concern for sport bike groups because their motorcycles are actually capable of moving through an intersection quick enough where there's no risk of being stuck. Harley guys, on the other hand, have to put a little bit more effort making sure everybody stays together. Seeing a bunch of motorcyclists all riding together can make cars on the road a little nervous, as large groups of people in general can become unpredictable. To the average Karen, a large group of motorcyclists probably looks like the most frightening thing in the world. Even if a group ride are behaving themselves and riding like a nice group of boys and girls, the added congestion on the roadways and unpredictability of the situation can definitely be annoying to other drivers. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. I don't find that to be annoying, I find it to be a very nice thing to do. Since you're a superior Yami Noob enjoyer, why don't you subscribe to the channel? Better yet, head over to yaminoob.co and check out our membership options and all the perks that come with it. We've got a Honda CBR 650R given away right now. We probably got a sweet multiplier on it as well. There's only one way to know for sure. Head over to the site and check it out. Thanks again for your viewership. I will see you later. Fact: a massive cloud of alcohol in space, 1,000 times larger than our entire solar system, contains enough ethyl alcohol to make 400 trillion pints of beer. Goodbye.
Keep watching Yami Noob!